Well, so some of you may or may not know I have a Telegram channel, and some of you may or may not know that I also have a Twitter account. And I only ever used the Twitter account, or did since I joined Twitter, to follow the sort of groups who in turn create the resources that we then in turn again see in our schools, such as the anti-racist groups or the global citizenship groups or sustainability groups, and they are in abundance on Twitter. There is a very high prevalence of them, hence why I joined it. And my account lay dormant for some time, and I've only really now started to speak a little bit on there, but it's more just to take the piss out of the SNP soy boys, because they are aplenty. But I'm too fearful, so to speak, to really call out the anti-racist groups on Twitter, because I don't want them blocking me, because the whole point of me being on there in the first place is for me to keep an eye on the fuckers. But even today alone, some of the stuff that I've come across, and this is why I'm making this video, in the space of maybe 20 minutes or so, I just found a few things just scrolling through their pages, and it repulses me. It absolutely does repulse me, because not only we got the critical race theory aspect of it all coming into effect now with the building racial literacy program. That's just one cog in a fucking dirty machine, and they're all government endorsed. It's getting really, I'm at a loss for words in terms of what can be done about it. I do feel at times, if I'm being totally honest, that I am one of the only people that's actually bringing any attention to this, and I don't understand why. I don't expect somebody that lives in fucking France or Manchester to give a shit about this, but at a very bare minimum, expect people in Scotland to maybe care about it. I don't get it, and then it makes me second guess myself. Am I reading too much into the shit that I'm seeing? And then, just as I've said before, I'll give it another look, and no, I'm fucking not. For example, there's Thai. Nobody cares about the Thai shit really. I had that open on another tab, so I posted it. But for example, if I can get this one here, right? Right off the fucking bat, look at this. Creating racially diverse and inclusive settings for children and young people. Right? The fuck? It's getting younger and younger. You're seeing more, well, I do anyway, I'm noticing more and more references to the early years. So it's no longer just children, P7s or adolescents, high schools. No, the early years. So we got the feminist infiltration. We got this shit creeping in through the back door, and it's amazing to me how they can be so prevalent on Twitter, and it's full of normies, and nobody fucking notices. I don't even know how I ended up finding these people to begin with, to be totally honest. I'm glad I did, in some respects. But anyway, so I obviously quote tweeted her here, but here's the original tweet, alright? It's so great to work together with the third sector to promote important messages of racial literacy. Now, racial literacy, of course, is the critical race theory that's government endorsed, that is becoming more and more advertised on Twitter, may I add, and it's becoming more prevalent. And eventually the long-term plan for the racial literacy program is to have it embedded into every single teacher's training across the country, right? But anyway, and she's a prolific anti-racist cancer cell, may I add. Thanks to CISWeb, which is Children in Scotland, the official Twitter feed of Scotland's national charity working to improve children's lives. Getting fucking worked up already. And this is the sort of shit that's behind the scenes has been burning me out, because I don't know what the fuck to do about this. I really don't. Hence why I feel like I'm making a fucking cry for help video at this point. It's fucking, because, I don't know. Anyway. Really looking forward to it. So, just to, it says here, to be creating racially diverse and inclusive settings for children and young people. And this is on Tuesday, the 22nd of June, right? And it's going to be led by this boot. And the session will explore the importance of taking a racially diverse and inclusive approach with children and young people, presumably that's what that acronym stands for. And click to book. I'll have a wee look at that. But let's have a wee look at her. I've gone onto her channel before. Look at the background photo straight off the bat. The fucking background photo. She's a primary teacher, by the way. Right? This is the sort of shit that's being allowed to fester in our schools now, and the SNP get to kind of take a back seat, take a back step, and deflect any blame, any criticism, if it was to emerge, because they get to say that it's up to the schools themselves. There's nonsense about devolved local powers. Bollocks. Fucking bollocks. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones that initially came away with the concept of anti-racist education being embedded in our curriculums, and lo and behold, these people are cropping up all over the joint. The SNP are also the same fucking group of non-entities who were hell-bent on ensuring that the UNCRC became a thing that was talked about. Of course, everybody else in the parliament seemed to be on board with that, and that's why we got a lot of the additional cancer that we now see, such as global citizenship, and of course, sustainability, and you name it, it's there. But look at this shit. What the fuck is this? What happened? Just let kids be kids. Now we can't do that. Now we can't do that because the BAMEs don't want us to do that. And the government are allowing them to do what they want. Infiltrate our academia. That was their plan. I said that years ago. Now they're fucking doing it. And they really are going for it in many respects. Right? It's funny because this article here, why anti-racist education in Scotland's classrooms is not to be feared, right? And this was from 2020 or something. I made a video on that back in the day, I'm pretty sure, because I recognised the thumbnail. I didn't know anything about her at the time. I just made a video because I was taking the piss out of all these anti-racist articles that were coming out. Every single time one of them came out, I made a video on them. And lo and behold, now I'm starting to see who they actually are. And things I said back then, I was too fucking nice. Rest assured. But anyway, so she's also involved as well in the Building Racial Literacy programme. You know, it's becoming a bit of an ever-expanding clique, but it says here, delivered my first face-to-face professional development session for teachers today in the developing anti-racist education and building racial literacy within our school ethos. It was empowering and heartening, right? Okay, that's great stuff. Bold, progressive and brave. Okay. Just on a separate note, she retweeted this. I wasn't even aware that this was on the TV. It might be a bit too late now for me to be able to obtain that, but if anybody has any footage of this, Scotland Tonight, I would be interested to see it. The date on this though, because I might be able to try and access STV Player or something at some point. This was May the 17th, I don't know, like I might be pushing it a bit, especially the way that the news operates, it kind of refreshes a lot sooner, but I'll try nonetheless. So this has been discussed now on TV, retweeted by the aforementioned Boot, but it says, what can be done to achieve racial equality in Scotland? Well, last time I checked, they fucking had it. But of course, they don't have it if we play into the narrative that's been perpetuated by anti-racists. And this is a fundamental issue alongside the issue of targeting our youth explicitly with their fucking education curriculum courses. Right, but I love this. Afua the Scot. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you ain't fucking Scottish, right? you are not Scottish. Hate to be that guy. It's got fuck all to do with the fact that you ain't white. You take a DNA test and we'll see how closely related you are to the fucking Scots, right? But anyway, I am digressing now. But this is ridiculous. What can we do? I mean, just what the fuck is this? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste her name, because I have highlighted other stuff and I put it on my Telegram as well, because I need to actually go back to my Telegram to show some of the other stuff that I found. But there's another thing from her here, right? Scotland has also recently published its annual data report in ethnic diversity in teaching, showing the same trends. Just shows the systemic nature of what we're dealing with, right? And what's she talking about? Oh, the most significant ethnic disparities in teacher career progression occur during the earliest career stages. Oh, it must be the systemic barriers, the oppression. Oh, fuck off, man. It's getting ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. If there was a systemic oppression, systemic barriers in place, there would be no fucking teachers at all that were not considered to be white. But of course there are, so how did they get there? I fucking wonder. Could it be the fact that you're a minority, therefore you're going to be represented accordingly in any fucking workforce? Nah, can't be that. It has to be racism, because the fucking Indian descendant clearly knows better. Wow. And there's a few other things that I caught of her at the time, where she says here that unconscious bias training is not misuse without delving into actual anti-racist practice. White privilege and institutional racism and the power structures that exist within society and the education system. Ah, yes, the big, bad fucking power structures that only the anti-racists can see. It's like the opposite of that kid in that film that sees dead people. The BAMEs, they're all sat in bed and Nicolas Cage is sat next to them. Or it'll be a BAME, Nicolas Cage, I don't know, Nicholas BAME, perhaps. And they go, I see, and then, whatever you will, I see microaggressions. They're fucking everywhere. These people, It's you could in many respects have felt sorry for them once upon a time because they're clearly living in some sort of fucking delusional world, which isn't exactly the healthiest mindset to have. But I'm really starting to be of the belief that a lot of them know damn well they're talking fucking nonsense. They know damn well that there's logical explanations to the things that they're pointing to, but instead of referring to the logical explanations, it's much easier and much more effective to insist that the things that they're pointing to are there simply because of fucking racism. Therefore, it then gives them the credence, the ability, the justification to then push for policies that shift about the past, the power, I should say, or the balance of power towards their own. She's also, I covered her here, but it says she's the chair now of the EIS union and of the anti-racist subcommittee, and she says it's great to see strong focus and the ambition to increase diversity in the education workforce. Yes, of course, because that's all they fucking care about. But anyway, so one of the other Twitter accounts I ended up on, there was a rake of these different tweets of people pledging their undying love to the global citizenship regime, some of whom were teachers, some of whom were, I assume, people leaving school after having this shit thrown in their face for all their years while they were in school. Then we've got others pledging to insist that they're going to be implementing this going forward to little kids. I've got a few here, we'll go through them. I think it's 4. I pledge to support global citizenship education as a member of Dundee City Council. Anybody living in Dundee, be interesting to see what Mr. Rob McCreary has to say for himself, the piece of shit, promoting this stuff. Because again, it's very simple and it's very easy to say to everybody that you're just simply supporting the concept of global citizenship, and it's always the airy-fairy top layering. You just need to look beneath the surface. I've showcased it on my own channel, but trust me, go and do a bit of digging yourself. Look what it really fucking means, because they don't hide it. What it really means is a lot more malevolent than just simply airy-fairy global diversity or global citizenship support. Anyway, he pledges to work to protect citizens across the globe. Yes, okay, you're so fucking cool, right? But then we've got this one. We pledge to nurture and support young people, helping them to become our future global citizens, right? So, yes, just... They pledge to collaborate and guide one another towards a better future, a sustainable world. It's a cult. You could make the argument it's a cult, but fundamentally, all it seems to me, anyway, is it's just excuse after excuse to start imposing their cancerous ideology on children. They're activists, posing as members of the society, simply there to enact the policies. Social justice promotion from as young as possible, and all of the rest of that, what that encompasses. Right, we've also got this one here, Fairly Audrey, who plans to support global citizenship through our work stream work and to share and celebrate it in schools and fucking nurseries. Nurseries, yeah. Younger than younger, as I said. Nurseries. At what point? When is it too young? When is it too young? Because we've already seen ludicrous publications that have come out in America in the past where they imply babies are racist, they're born racist. We're already at the nursery stage here. How long is it going to be before they start saying that they're racist in the fucking womb? Pardon my French, I know there's some that dislike my profanity, and I know myself that sometimes I can get a bit, or I can swear a bit too much in my videos. But if you've known me for any length of time, you'll be hard pushed to find a video where I don't lose a handle or swear at least once. It's just what Scots do at the end of the day. But that said, nurseries. And I think the last one here, I pledge to educate the youngest of our learners. Well, the youngest, so it's not just the learners in his care, is her responsibility, I should say, Mrs. McDavies, CPS. No. It's not just the learners in general. No, she's going to make a specific focus to prioritise the youngest of learners on the global goals. Oh, wow, the youngest. This is grooming. Fucking grooming. I'm sorry, that is what this appears to me. And again, maybe I am reading too much into it, but that to me does not look normal. None of this is normal. This was something that I just put together earlier on as well. I took a few excerpts from an SNP endorsed document that came out last year, just to showcase again. It says right at the bottom, and again, I don't really know how to expand the picture on Telegram, considering my recording, well, I say software, but it's cutting off half the screen. But it says right at the bottom there, that there are clear synergies between global citizenship and anti-racist education. They're all interlinked, intertwined, or interdependent, or, if we're going to be fancy about things. But again, so all that talk of global citizenship, and what else does that entail? Well, it also entails anti-racist education. I will also bring up global citizenship just to kind of reiterate the point again, but there's a few other things that they say here, that the curriculum for excellence is intended to support children and young people to gain the knowledge and skills and attributes needed for 21st century life, right? Well, it's so bold and brave. But then they go on to say down just in the next paragraph that the race equality and anti-racist education recognises that our 21st century learners exist in a multicultural, multi-faith and global community, and as such need to develop as global citizens. So it's just, what the fuck is this? I mean, read between the lines. Most of you are probably aware of what that actually means, as far as I can tell anyway. If I had to put my money where my mouth is, I would say that is most definitely all about. Because bear in mind as well, when I say this isn't happening twofold in other parts of the world in the BAME nations, really, is it? No, it's about normalising the concepts of diversity and imposing the idea of global citizenship, etc, etc. And there's a plethora of different long-term outcomes that they wish to see occur from this, but the fundamental one that they never address, but it's blatantly the elephant in the room, is that to help ease in the eradication of our national identity. They've already managed to be relatively successful in that respect by managing to completely obliterate the concept that we as a people ever existed to begin with. What is a Scot? What is Scottishness? Well, fuck knows, because Graham Campbell and the gang are now telling us that they're all Scottish. And as that woman that I had up on the screen earlier on, who was on an STV programme, claims that she's Scottish. Afua the Scot. Aye, okay then. Afua. Fuck me, like, it's anyway. It's fucking Afua the Scot. Yeah, okay. Right? If you had a Scottish parent and if your father's Scottish and your mother's from Kenya or something, you're half Scottish. But if you're black and you were born in Scotland, you're not Scottish. If you are black and you moved to Scotland, you're sure as fuck not Scottish. I'm sorry, it's just the way that it works. But they sit there and go, oh well, it's because of racism. And no, it's fucking not. It's nothing to do with that at all. All the distinct ethnic groups around Europe were created over time and are distinct from one another. Different enclaves of people. You can't just fucking move here and assume that you're one of us. A curriculum which represents everyone involves normalising diversity within the curriculum. Right there. Normalising diversity within the curriculum. This is fantastic stuff from our nationalistic government, is it not? You know? And as I said, this is coming from them. This is directly from them. But behind the scenes, so to speak, on Twitter is where it really seems to be kicking off. It's fucking vile. Some of the stuff that I read, and I've shown some of it on my channel in the past, is just fuck. I just don't understand how this is not garnering the attention that it quite self-evidently fucking needs. Pronto. Normalising diversity within the curriculum as opposed to normalising the white majority ethnic group. Remember that article, that website that got me really pissed off about a couple of weeks ago for anybody that watched? I didn't realise it was also in the same fucking document that has Shirley Ann Sowell's mug on the first page. But there it is again. We have to move away from the concept of normalising the white majority ethnic group. Now why do we need to do that? Because we need to stop letting children in Scotland believe that they are a majority and that's the way that it always was and should be. And instead favour the idea of global citizenship and diversity, because this is effectively colonisation at this fucking point. But you speak out about it, oh that's racist, oh. Well, that's it, fuck, At the end of the day, we're talking about children here. This is what I've always found the most disgusting about all of this, whether it's the critical race theory shit that's everywhere now being promoted, or whether it's just this waffle, namby-pamby, wishy-washy rhetoric from wet wipes. But fundamentally, it's targeting our youth.